Mark at Skywagon University. I'm going to do a video on this 1965/1973 Cessna 185 and look at a large amount of special features this plane particularly has. We're not going to fly it because what I want to show you mainly is to do with the engine and the prop. Run. So a little bit of history about this plane. It just had a recent celebrated past. The end number actually gives the game away if anybody's astute enough, but I've been told I can't say the exact words, but it was used in a popular British espionage franchise, and it had like a 30-second shot of it doing what it does on floats, and then it got painted, deregistered, re-registered, new end number, and disappeared back into anonymity. But if I said my name was Pilkington, Mark Pilkington, I might give the game away. But check this out. This is why we have to sometimes stop filming. Anyone would think it was an airport. So it looks like your average MT prop. Composite. It's got the metal leading edge to reduce water abrasion, and you know, when you're IFR in clouds, it doesn't erode the front edge of the scimitar blade. But look how much thicker this is. It's longer. I mean, normally it would be about there. So the reversing mechanism is in here, and it's all here. There's hydraulics and pumps and switches. But very importantly, the propeller doesn't go backwards. It's not like you slam it into reverse and it's bang and then goes the other way. That would work, but the engine would have to go backwards. So all it does is it goes from this pitch to reverse pitch. So instead of thrust that way, thrust is that way. And you can't do it above 40 knots, and there's an arming switch, so it will never happen in flight. So that's the propeller. Let's go inside and look at the mechanism. Then we'll run it. So apart from the stunningly corporate array of avionics in it, I'll show you more about the propeller in a second, but look at this. MFDs, personal flight directors, the GPS, a GFC 500 autopilot, synthetic vision. I mean, this autopilot does everything. A couple of digital comms, all Garmin, and the two engine management MVPs down here with their warning lights up here. An incredible IFR panel. So what you do with the propeller, here's your avionics master switch. Under this one is the arming switch for the prop. So if that is like that, it's a normal propeller and it will be normal forever. If you're thinking, right, I want to use the reversible capability of it, you arm it. That doesn't reverse it, that just arms it. Then on the yoke, there's a tiny little switch right here. So when you're landing, say you're doing a really super short field landing, you've touched down, you just pull it towards you and the prop goes into reverse. And obviously that will then push the tail down. So with this being a tail dragger, the tail cannot go any lower than when it's on the ground. So you can really make it stop in its own length. It would be great for a super stall competition. And then you let go and it relaxes it back into forward thrust. So it's just as needed. So I'll tell you all this before we do it, so we don't have to do it with the engine running and things. If you shut it down with this switch held in reverse, it will stay at zero thrust. So you've shut it down, it's in zero thrust. Now it's sitting there parked. Next time you come to it and start the engine, it will be at zero thrust. So you've come up to a dock, you've parked it, it's at zero thrust. You can start the engine at the dock, have it running, know it's going to start, because passengers get in, get out, and then back away from the dock. Whereas with a normal scenario, you'd have to push it off, and if it was hot, perhaps it wouldn't start. Maybe you're cranking it and it's drifting towards bushes and you've got to rush out with an oar and fend it off because there's no brakes on floats. So this means you can just back it off the dock, turn into wind, put the prop back into forward, disarm that, and take off. It's fantastic. So let's see it in practice. Let's back her up. So I'm going to start it with the radios on, simply because I would like to be able to keep the microphone working. So here we go. Clear. Right, so at the moment it is a normal plane. Normal propeller, throttle prop mixture, everything's the same. You taxi, you move it around, blah blah blah. And it's just like a 185 should be. So say I think, ooh, I need to back up. There's somebody in a corporate jet watching and I want to put it on a tie down. So you arm the propeller here. Propeller armed. And this little switch here, I just pull it back towards me and the prop goes into beta and I can reverse by adding power. And steering, if it were on float it would be all over the place, but steering going backwards does make for a little bit of interesting manoeuvring. And if you want to go forward, cut the power, release the switch, rev it again, and off she goes forward. If you're giving it a lot of power in reverse and you reverse the prop, it can pull you forward fairly sharply, so you've got to be ready for it. But it's forward, propeller armed, reverse, add power. And we're not reversing the film at the moment, this is, real time. And if you want to turn it, grab on a bit of brake. Fun to reverse it right into the hangar. So I move the tail wheel to one side. Now I'm reversing. We've got to come off the power, then go back on it. Reversing, light, on the power. I don't have a backup camera in this thing, so I've got to be careful. But you could do a 3-point turn with it. Forward. And then backing up a hill. So this ramp is not level, watch. So you backed it into your tie down. You can steer it pretty nicely backwards. Okay, you backed it onto your tie down. Now, if I put it to idle, hold the propeller in reverse, reverse lights on, and kill it, the propeller is now flat, completely flat, zero thrust. So I'm keeping these on because I want the microphone to be live. So zero thrust, I'm sitting at the dock, people getting in. If you start the engine, it's going to pull forward off the bank. So you want to start it, it'll be a normal hot start. When it starts, after you've shut it down, in flat pitch, it stays in flat pitch and has zero thrust. So let's try that. Clear! So right now, there's zero thrust. I could be sitting at the dock, idling, and it will not move. Everybody's in, doors shut, made sure it's running, set it free. It'll just sit here like this. Then you could back away from the dock. Which would take considerably less power if you're on water. And then you're out in the middle of the lake, you're ready to go. Turn off the propeller, reverse is off, and off we go. And that is the reversing pitch propeller from MT on a 185 with an I-0550 in it. And the I-0550 only has 90 hours on it, so this is a pretty exceptional plane. When you're reversing, the steerability of the tailwheel is way better when engaged, not when it's free castering. Free castering, it would be just in trail, and it's whatever you do, but it actually steers backwards very well in the steerable portion of the tailwheel before it goes over center. You could maneuver it all over the place. Hi, so this is Mark at Skywagon University. We just had a quick look around this excellent 73 185 with its 90-hour factory new I-0550 and a reversible pitch MT on it. If you like the videos, click on subscribe, click on the little bell for notifications. We're going to be doing a lot of these, and there's already like 150 videos out there. And also, we've just done our first podcast, and it's interviewing a friend of mine from England who's learned to fly in his 40s and now flies corporate jets. It's a little bit of a chat about how to get into aviation perhaps late. He did that. We're going to be putting that online pretty soon on the website and on Spotify for audio only, but video for YouTube. And if anybody out there is interesting enough to bring like a subject that we could discuss to us, like something in the military or airlines or something we could talk and discuss and do a podcast on, contact me, we'll do that. And we'll be putting up a lot more videos like this. So thanks very much for watching.